Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Double honors to the apostles, the dear master, and the sincere Shalom. To brothers out there pushing the truth and sincerity. And I pretty much want to get into the topic pretty much about a video the apostle did. It's pretty much like a response about the purim. Because he was going into the history of it. And it resonated with me because you have guys today that'll take such a holy day and put it into something into their perspective, which you're not really supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be going based off what the Lord says. But then you have Esau doing the same shit that's full of wickedness. And just like how Esau was doing the wickedness in the day of Purim as well, he's doing much more worse than he is now. And that's why I got to start it off. Micah 2:1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds," and that's Esau in a nutshell. Or I would say even niggas too. But I'm gonna start with Esau because of the simple fact that he does these things. He'll set up all these backwards ass things. Esau got his own order set up, but then he'll plan it in a wicked way. Like even now, when it even comes, I'm gonna cut to the chase with it. Even to when it comes to the Israelite movement or just being an Israelite in general, Esau will manipulate other Jake into doing what he wants, such as paying him with the 501c3. That's the iniquities right there. Those are how he works evil upon the beds. Get Jake to say, no, this isn't how the Purim is, or this isn't how the holy days work, and then change it to something different. And all this is going to be brought back on Esau's head for this, because he works these things and he thinks he's going to get away with this. Little does he know that he's just setting himself up for failure, and he's just like, he don't care, or he just doesn't know it. But that's why we're out there telling him, not just the Rothschilds, but Esau himself, that this is coming back on your head. We tell them your fate. I mean, their fate. But then you got these niggas that would not only side with Esau, or I would say even the rebellious Jake that probably doesn't side with Esau, but in their own perspective, they follow Esau's mentality on turning what the Lord has set forth into their own personal gain. And that makes them a false prophet, because they're not supposed to be doing something as wicked as that, is turning the Lord's words upside down. And this is why I had Matthew 7:15. It says, "Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves." And that's where you get a lot of Jake that are false prophets, want to make everything to their benefits. And it's just like, here we are as the hopeful elect. We're not following that bullshit. We're not following the BS that goes into madness. It don't even have to be Esau. It could be just in general what you change the Lord's words to be. You're not supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be following them as he says. Of course, you don't take every word as something simple, but you make sense of it. You gotta get the understanding and knowledge of what the Lord actually means, because he speaks in parables. But these guys go over the top with these with the parables. They thinking 1 minute is this, and then the next let's go even further above, and they make it much more wicked. And it's And at that point, it doesn't make any sense. Now you just make yourself look like a fool. Just like it. I mean, at this point, you just making yourself really vain about how this is supposed to go. Because it's one thing to get the understanding of this is what it means and pair it and put it in a good way, but it's another thing when you try to take something and make it worldly in general. Like you're not supposed to make these things very worldly. I mean, in general. But when you listen to what these guys bring out about what this means and what that means, it just sounds completely worldly. Like, make if you're going to try to come up with something, at least do a good job and make it spiritual, because we know the Lord's about spiritual. But here you are trying to make everything sound carnal, and it just you just appeasing what these people want. But what about the Lord? What the Lord wants? You had to question that. What about what the Lord wants? But they won't do that. They won't question that. Damn thing. So like, well, I'm gonna get this one scripture right here, which is Jeremiah 10:8, because here's the problem with you guys that wants to make all these different doctrines. That I mean, if you really think about it, it sounds just like Esau's doctrines, just more backwards, or should I say, just as wicked. And it says, this is Jeremiah 10:8, but they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock is a doctrine of vanities. And that's all it is. When you speak worldly things, that's a doctrine of vanities. And that's the problem within it itself. But I mean, as a apostle quoted in the video, it because each of them had, what do you say? They have a lot, and each I would say, I mean, if you think about it, everybody has a particular lot. Like Esau, he has a lot of being wicked, supplanting, um, devising things, and in iniquity, and so on and so forth. Just like 2-3 Jake, they have their lot in being niggas, or just being I mean, they have their lot being niggas, but they have their lot, whereas one of them might come up and uh, get edified, go back, he might talk to somebody else about it. That might be the possible of elect. And then he has the Israelites, but acting like coons, that they have their lot, being scoffers and so on and so forth, making up silly doctrines. So everything is really a lesson for the elect, because you notice you have basically the everyone against you, and then I mean, everything is how should I say? It's not revolving, but it's coming into the play of effect. But we know that through these uh coon other Israelite camps that want to make up different doctrines, that stems from Esau. Esau ultimately gets his power from Yahweh Shah, but Esau is going to get all this repaid back to him. How? But the destruction on his head. That's how. Like I said, this video was really a response to the purim, because it was a very edifying video. But even in that video, Mordecai was defying Esau, and that's what we're doing today. We're defying Esau, because we ain't standing for other Israelites making up other doctrines. We ain't for Esau doing what he does. We ain't here to we serve Esau in this captivity for now, but we ain't bowing ourselves to Esau. We're trying to bow ourselves down to Yahweh Shah, and that's why, like it said, like the apostle broke down, Esau was trying to destroy Israel. Hey, that's gonna be, and it fell upon, and he and his sons died. Well, it's gonna be the same thing again. Esau's still trying to destroy us, but guess what? We're gonna destroy him, even through thermonuclear missiles. So it's still to the point that no matter what Esau does, or should I say that history repeats itself, it's going to repeat again. And that's why we look forward to it, because Esau needs to die, because he persecutes our people every day. Was that not what Esau was doing back then? Is he not doing it today? Why? Because what? Ezekiel 7:21 says, "And I will give it into the hands for a stranger of the stranger for a prey, and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil." And and guess what? Esau's that stranger. Esau's that stranger that's been preying on us. I would say, like it said further on, and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil. So he's been preying on not only just Israel, but the entire earth, because he uses everything to his advantage. And guess what? It says after that, they shall pollute it. Is that not what he's doing? Is he not polluting the earth, life itself? Hell, he not only polluted Israel, but he polluted the scriptures. He's polluted our people into making false doctrines, because all these false doctrines stem back to Esau. What else would come from? Because of course, ultimately through the Lord to bug out these people. But when you really listen to these doctrines, it sounds like it just came from Esau. It is no different. But hey, that's why Esau is going to get destroyed. 2/3 of our people going to get destroyed. The ones that know they're Israelites but acting like niggas going to be destroyed. Those are still technically 2/3. And Lord willing, I'm of the elect. But it's a terrible thing to be taking the words of the Lord and making them to what you see profitable. So with that, I just want to say Shalom and death to Babylon.